Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I am Arjun Chaudhary. Here are the top stories that we're tracking for you on Thursday, the 7th of January. Pakistan expels Bangladeshi Diplomat amid weakening ties. World Bank predicts India to remain the fastest growing economy in 2016. And Norway's foreign minister visits Sri Lanka to revive ties. And now for all the details. It has been a week since the provincial government of India's capital Delhi implemented the odd-even vehicular restriction policy. With some applause, the government has also come under much scrutiny regarding the inconvenience faced by the commuters and its efforts to reduce pollution.
Delhi began the trial phase of the new initiative starting January 1st by limiting the number of cars on roads to reduce the hazardous smog. The scheme bans the use of odd cars on even dates and vice versa. But just a week into its implementation, the city's High Court has questioned the trial period, citing the inconvenience it is causing to commuters. Delhi's state government disagrees and says the car reduction plan is working.
दिल्ली सरकार ने 15 दिन के लिए पूरी कार्ययोजना बनाई है और एक प्रभावी एनालिसिस के लिए सारे तथ्यों पर, क्योंकि वेदर का भी मूड अलग-अलग चेंज हो रहा है, तो एक सही एनालिसिस के लिए 15 दिन की एक हमें सैंपल चाहिए जिसके आधार पर हम आगे का फैसला ले सकें.
The state government claims the move has helped ease traffic and has brought down vehicular pollution levels. And it's a sentiment shared by commuters who say they are delighted to see fewer cars on the roads.
There is less traffic on the road, people can breathe better. I'm happy to see people are using more public conveyance, and yes, definitely it is in the favor of Delhi.
Odd and even से ट्रैफिक कम है, पोल्यूशन कम है और सड़कों पे रश बहुत कम है. हम लोग जहाँ पहले 40 मिनट में पहुँचते थे, अब वो 30 मिनट में पहुँचते हैं और ये दोबारा होना चाहिए.
But there are others who say Delhi needs to overhaul its public transportation system for the scheme to be truly successful. Typically, as the weather gets cooler, there is a significant rise in air pollution and thick layer of smog envelops the city. That is why the state government here is making a case to extend the trial period of this initiative by another week. But apart from this, the government is also trying out other measures such as cleaning the roads more efficiently and planting the trees along the arterial roads to improve the city's worsening air quality.
India will remain the fastest growing economy in 2016, the World Bank has projected. Also, South Asia is predicted to be the fastest growing region. A report.
The Indian economy will grow at a robust 7.8%, ahead of China's modest 6.7% in 2016. It is projected to grow at 7.9% in the next 2 years. The World Bank, in its Global Economic Prospect Report, cited that this is due to strong investor sentiment and the positive effect on real incomes of the recent fall in oil prices. India's currency and stock markets were largely resilient over the past year, even during the stint of volatility in global financial markets, the report said.
These are uncertain times and volatility is the new normal in a global economy. China seems to be moving towards a market-linked pricing of the yuan, more so after the IMF has accepted yuan as a reserve currency. So far as India is concerned, we are well cushioned. India is well cushioned. The resilience of our economy is inherent in our economy.
While the Reserve Bank of India rebuilt reserves, the net foreign direct investment flows have remained positive. Ongoing fiscal consolidation in India has also reduced the federal government's fiscal deficit to close to 4% of GDP on a 12-month rolling basis, down from a peak of 7.6% in 2009. With Bangladesh projected to grow at 6.7% and Pakistan at 5.5%, South Asia will be the world's fastest growing region. South Asia is projected to be a bright spot for emerging and developing economies, with growth speeding up to 7.3% in 2016 from 7% in 2015. The region has smaller trade links with China than other regions and is a net importer of oil and will benefit from lower global energy prices.
Moving on to news from Afghanistan. The United Nations has condemned the spate of bombings by the Taliban in civilian areas of Afghanistan's capital city Kabul in the first few days of the new year. Kabul has witnessed 4 attacks between 1st and 5th January, which has killed over 5 people and left 56 injured.
In its statement, the United Nations Assistance Mission in Afghanistan, or the UNAMA, has extended its condolence to the families of all those killed in the incidents. UNAMA also mentioned that the international humanitarian law, which explicitly prohibits attacks against civilians and wants all parties to uphold their legal obligations at all times to avoid harm to civilians. Taliban has claimed responsibility for 3 separate suicide, vehicle-borne improvised explosive devices (SVBIED) attacks near a French restaurant and the Hamid Karzai International Airport. Afghanistan has witnessed a surge in Taliban-led attacks in the country, which the group claims mainly targets foreigners in and around Kabul, but most casualties have been Afghan civilians. The insurgency has significantly increased since foreign forces ended combat operations last year. The attacks have cast a shadow on the prospect of resumption of peace talks between the Taliban and the Afghan government.
Staying on news from the country, the NATO-led Resolute Support Mission is providing Afghan National Security Forces with over 100 M1151 high-mobility multi-purpose wheeled vehicle or Humvee in order to strengthen the force to fight insurgents in the country in 2016. According to the alliance, the first batch of the Humvees has already arrived and will soon be delivered to the Afghan National Defense and Security Forces. Afghanistan has been encountering a surge in insurgency by Taliban as well as the ISIS ever since the US combat forces started withdrawing troops from the country. Repeated Taliban assaults have exposed the vulnerability of the Afghan forces. The international and regional allies of Afghanistan have now stepped up efforts to equip the troops amid deteriorating security situation in the country. Deforestation in Gilgit-Baltistan is causing environmental changes that are threatening the lives and property of people in the region. Locals say the government has not come up with any policy to increase tree plantation to maintain the ecological balance.
Glaciers in Gilgit-Baltistan are melting rapidly due to depletion of forests and collapse of ecosystem. As a result, the threat of flood looms large in the region. The government claims of having taken measures to increase tree plantation, but locals say everything is on paper and is far from reality. The timber mafia, which is very active in the region, is making the situation worse.
हुकूमती सतह पर अगर कोई काम जंगलात की अफजाइश के हवाले से हो रहा है तो वो कागज़ों की हद तक हो रहा है, अमली बुनियादों पर न होने के बराबर है। हर साल ये दावा किया जाता है महकमे जंगलात की जानिब से कि जी इस साल हम 15 लाख या 20 लाख दरख्त लगाए जा रहे हैं और यही प्रैक्टिस गुज़श्ता 2 अशरों से इनकी जारी है। अगर ये देखा जाए कि जी 20 सालों के दौरान हर साल जो ये लोग 15 से 20 लाख दरख्त लगाते हैं, वो सारे दरख्त कहाँ चले गए? कागज़ी मंसूबे होते हैं और हम तो ये भी कहेंगे कि बल्कि सरकारी वसाइल को हड़प करने का करप्शन का एक ज़रिया है।
Today, people of Gilgit-Baltistan are in a no-win situation. Due to scarcity of economical and affordable fuel in the region, they are forced to survive on the timber available here to warm up their homes during the harsh winters.
और गिलगित-बल्तिस्तान के लोग सर्दियों के दौरान लकड़ी एक ऐसा ज़रिया है जिसके ज़रिए वो हीटिंग का इंतज़ाम करते हैं, क्योंकि यहाँ पर गैस तो है नहीं और जो सिलेंडर यहाँ लाए जाते हैं वो इतने महंगे होते हैं कि गरीब लोगों के बस की बात नहीं होती है, जिसकी वजह से गिलगित-बल्तिस्तान में जो जंगलात हैं वो बिल्कुल कटते जा रहे हैं, ख़त्म होते जा रहे हैं और नए जंगलों की पैदावार या नए दरख्तों की पैदावार न होने के बराबर है, जिसकी वजह से इस खित्ते के माहौल पर मनफी असरात मुरतब हो रहे हैं। जिसकी एक मिसाल मैं आपको ये दूँ कि 2009 में यहाँ 2010 में जो है वो तबाहकुन सैलाब आया और हालिया इसी 2015 में जो है गर्मियों के मौसम में सैलाब आया और ये अब एक रूटीन बनता जा रहा है।
With no proper policy in place to curb deforestation and with successive governments paying little attention to the pressing problems, the locals have to brace the hazardous consequences.
Moving on, Bangladesh's diplomat Noshumi Rahman has been sent back to Dhaka after she was expelled from her position by Pakistan. The expulsion has come days after Pakistan Ministry summoned Bangladesh High Commissioner to Islamabad and asked Rahman to be withdrawn by Thursday. Rahman, who served as political counsellor and head of chancery at the Bangladesh mission in Islamabad, was asked to leave Pakistan for allegedly indulging in activities beyond her diplomatic role. Her removal is seen as a counteraction by Pakistani authorities weeks after Bangladesh had asked Pakistan to recall its diplomat Farina Arshad from its High Commission in Dhaka following allegations of financing terrorist activities in the country. Diplomatic ties between Dhaka and Islamabad have soured after Bangladesh started executing the war criminals who actively collaborated with the Pakistan Army during the 1971 Liberation War in Bangladesh. Norway's Foreign Minister Borge Brende is in Sri Lanka in a bid to re-establish political contact and ties between the two nations. His visit has come almost 10 years after Oslo failed in a bid to mediate in the island's civil war.
Foreign Minister Borge Brande's visit is the first by any Norwegian minister to Sri Lanka since 2005. Brende, who was on a one-day state visit to Sri Lanka, met with the country's top leadership on Thursday and discussed various ways to expand Norwegian assistance in the development of the island nation.
Economic and social developments are key priorities of this government. Minister Brende and I discussed expanding Norwegian development assistance, especially technical assistance for the fisheries sector and also for the solar power generation. In addition, we explored the possibility of expanding Norwegian investment in Sri Lanka, both through portfolio and foreign direct investment.
During his visit, Brende will focus on economic and development cooperation and explore ways to strengthen and enhance bilateral relations.
And the multiculture of this country is the strength of the country. And the reconciliation process that the government has started is something that we support very much. We have just seen the top of the iceberg when it comes to the potential of this country, when different groups work together.
In the early 2000s, Norway mediated between the Sri Lankan government and the separatist Liberation Tigers of Tamil Eelam or LTTE, but a 2002 ceasefire didn't last. The 26-year-old civil war between the Sri Lankan military and Tamil Tigers ended in 2009 after the leader of the separatist group was killed.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude, the top stories once again. Pakistan expels Bangladeshi diplomat amid weakening ties. World Bank predicts India to remain the fastest growing economy in 2016. And Norway's foreign minister visits Sri Lanka to revive ties. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.